Rolling Stone magazine dubbed him the modern-day guitar hero. I'm with Ariel Posen. You've been a busy guy lately. How you been?
I've been good, man. Yeah, I always try to keep busy, like we all do. It's all good, yeah.
And now before we get into Bannatyne, your new album, you've got 2 tours lined up this year. Tell me a little bit about them. Excited?
I'm very excited. I'm grateful to be able to do it. I know not everyone gets to do it, so when you get to travel the world to do what you love, it's definitely a gift for sure. Yeah, and a privilege. We're going to Europe in a few days. We're going to Denmark, Germany, the Netherlands, and Sweden, which will be great. And then we are going to Canada. We're doing some Ontario, Quebec dates in May, and there's actually a bunch of other stuff that isn't announced yet, which also includes more Europe again and more US. We just did the last 3 months in the US. So October to December, we just did the whole US thing, including Winnipeg at this exact venue. We played here in mid-December, which was great. So we're kind of in that touring season leading up to the album release, March 20th, and then once it's out, then it really keeps going. So yeah, it's great.
And then leading up to the album release, you released a new song called Empty-Handed.
Yes.
Right, and that was with City in Color.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the process of when you realized that you wanted to add Dallas to the track.
Oh, why can you just forget it, let it go? I take all of the credit.
Yeah, so Dallas and I have been friends for about 6 years or so. I've been an admirer of him forever, and yeah, we've become close, and he's such a great guy, and we've collaborated a little, like during COVID, we did some stuff, and you know, whenever we're in the same town, we hang out. If I'm playing in town, he tries to come out, vice versa. And we were recording this new record, and I finished this song, and really I've never had this feeling, but I could hear him on it, which sounds weird and pretentious to say, but I just heard his voice on it. Texted him, do you want to sing on this? I feel like it would really suit you. It'd be fun to have you on this. Immediate yes, which I was grateful for, that it wasn't like, no, you know. And then like over-delivered, sent so much amazing stuff to work with. And then once we finished it and he was done, he was like, I feel like you wrote this song for me to sing on. I was like, I'm glad you feel that way, because that's literally, I did hear it. I just like heard your voice on it. So he agreed, I agreed, and he brought just a flair to the song that I'm not sure was there before, and he's one of those guys. I mean, he just opens his mouth, and it's so great. It's an honor to have him on a song, for sure.
Or maybe you can fill in on an Alexis on Fire song, maybe. Or is that a little too
I'd love
too extreme for you?
I don't know what I'd do on it, but I'd love to. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I mean they're doing Crisis in Full. I saw later
At
this
Bud
summer.
Stage, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any plans to ever tour with City in Color?
Are you kidding? I mean, if he called and said, would you be involved, of course I would. But it's little old me. I mean, I don't think I can convince him to come out with us. So it would have to be the other way around. But of course, I would love nothing more. It would be amazing to do more collaboratively, or touring, whatever it is. We'd be into that.
So one thing that I think is pretty cool about you is when you release a single, you release a song, you break them down on YouTube and you go layer by layer with different, instruments and everything that goes into the process of the song. And you did this with your new song,
Yeah.
with Dallas. Why do you think it's important for artists to do that?
Well, first of all, we're living in the age of content now, and everything is just about visibility, which, for better or for worse, it is what it is.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to an episode of
How I made a song. How I made a song.
It used to just be more about the music, and that could kind of do the speaking for you. Now you have to support it with endless footage and thinking of different ideas. And one thing I've always loved seeing with bands and artists that I follow and love is the behind the scenes kind of process and the thought behind what goes into writing, recording, producing. So it's something I really enjoy doing, and I've done these things for years now. This isn't the first time I'm doing it. I like to, give a peek behind the curtain. I know a lot of my fans are interested in that process. A lot of them are aspiring producers or artists as well, and there's no hidden gatekeeping going on. It's about sharing knowledge and really just it's still just getting the word out about the song. So it's just like, you know, we can't just write songs, perform songs. It's also fun for me to make cool videos, and it just like feels like a different branch of the tree of like the entire artistry, so to speak.
Okay, cool. And I remember watching the music video for that with like the fisheye lens.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Was that filmed or shot at like the Dynalone record studio?
It was,
I
yeah.
knew it. I knew
Yeah.
it was there because I went there. I went to school. I lived in Toronto for a little bit, and I remember getting a record there one time and kind of poking around and seeing. I was like, oh man, was that like Dallas Green's guitar or something like that? That's really cool that you got to do it there.
Yeah, well, we work with Dynalone, which is awesome. They're great, and they have a great space for it. And I really wanted to do the music video, including Dallas, if that was possible. So I wanted to make it as easy as possible for him. So we did it in Toronto, did it at the Space. Yeah, I wanted to go for like that early 2000s, 90s kind of vibe of a music video that I don't know how close in age we are or not, but like I grew up on like Much Music and stuff like that, watching music videos at like 480, not at 1080, you know, on like a camcorder kind of vibe. So yeah, fun vision. I feel like we encapsulated what I was going for.
Well, we'll be right back where Ariel's going to break down his newest album, Bannatyne. Welcome back. Once again, I'm joined by Ariel Posen, who's dropping his newest album, Bannatyne, this year. Tell me about the album.
It is my fourth album, which is exciting for me. Every time, you know, you put out an album, it's a big piece of you, and you know, to everyone else, it just arrives and shows up. But it's been years in the making. Every album, for me at least, takes 2 years, sometimes even longer. Just like from inception of writing songs to recording to mixing to figuring it all out. And I feel like I always say I'm most excited about whatever the newest one is, but that's truly because that's how I feel. You know, as an artist, you keep evolving and finding yourself, and I feel like I keep finding myself more and more each album, and I've done that the most so far with this one. And you know, the overall, I wouldn't say there's like an overall theme to this album, but I called it Bannatyne, which is a reference to the street here in Winnipeg in the Exchange District, specifically that area. It was just representing home. I've never lived on Bannatyne, but I do have memories there. And the song itself, there is a song called Bannatyne, which is referring to just being away on the road a lot as a musician and missing your loved ones at home, and just those kind of topics that a lot of us talk about, but most people really don't get to see the true feeling of what it's like to being a traveling circus type of person when your significant other works from home, or like not works from home but doesn't travel. So it can be interesting and difficult. So I wanted to not only draw attention to that, but more so just, you know, I have spent a lot of time away from Winnipeg, and at heart I still always identify as a Winnipegger, and it's always home. And this album is associated with a lot of like home memories and topics that I think of. And at the same time, it focuses a lot on the idea of, you know, as artists, we're always chasing something, and we're always kind of going on this crazy ride, and we don't ever stop to like enjoy it while we're on it. And we get to the end of it, or we reach a goal that we had in mind, and we focus on just getting to the goal and not actually celebrating what it took to get there, celebrating the good around that. And there's a song, Meridian, that's kind of focused on that, which was actually going to be the original title. But yeah, it's just about a lot of feelings and things that associate being home, and how I think a lot of other people from here that I know, my friends, have gone through things similarly. And yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm excited to get it out there. Might already be out now, but I'm excited about it, regardless.
Yeah. Would you say that it's like your love letter to Winnipeg?
I think some songs definitely are. I don't want to give off the idea that the whole record is a love letter to Winnipeg, because it's more about interpersonal relationships and feelings like that. Winnipeg is one piece of that, but everything I do is a love letter to Winnipeg, because I travel the world trying to represent Winnipeg. I go on the internet doing things, and not just me, but many of us try to like put Winnipeg on the map. And I'm proud to say that Winnipeg has like an amazing reputation, because most people don't expect that, you know? And we're out there putting out the good word on the peg, and we'll keep doing that. Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about the album cover a little bit?
Yes, actually, the album cover is a drawing of my childhood home, which is not on Bannatyne, but again, as a reference to the city. You know, you can take things and kind of mold them together, and in this case, Bannatyne is in reference to home, and that house is reference, of course, to home, and it's a very like simple little house, and I always wanted to find a way to incorporate it into a design. I don't know, I've always loved exterior design. I had my record 2 years ago, an album, Headway, was designed around what a lot of the houses in Ireland looked like, because I was living there at the time, and the theme of that had to do with a whole other thing. But I really love that kind of aesthetic, so it felt right to include that as a blueprint. Like literally, it's supposed to kind of resemble a blueprint, so to speak.
So I want to shift gears a little bit. After going solo, how have you been able to kind of hone in your identity as an artist?
I'm still figuring that out, but the main, because I think what I'm trying to say by that is that it never ends. You keep kind of figuring yourself out and getting to know yourself as an artist more. But the one thing I stuck to from the very beginning, which was instilled on me from other friends who have done the same thing, and like the main focus and the best advice they could ever give is just like, whatever you do, just like be authentic, be honest. You know, think of how many people out there who are just trying to do the same thing that other people are doing because they see that maybe that works. And I've just always just tried to focus on being authentic, and not like being different for the sake of being different, but just trying to create, not like go down my own path, but like create something that's like unique to me, and hopefully something that other people want to be interested in, and trying to stay true to that while, you know, being interested in what everyone else is doing and supporting what everyone else is doing. We're just really trying to stay in a lane that seems exciting, hopefully, and thrilling, and more so than anything, being inspired to do it. So like, I think just like how a lot of songwriters, myself included, will always say, like, you write songs for yourself first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it's for everyone else. It's the same with artistry. Like, it's got to be for you. You're putting out your art, and I'm not putting on a persona. I'm not like in character of any kind, but I'm just me, and that's the whole point. I love being a guitar player for hire, and it's such a beautiful thing to do, but fully getting to be 100% yourself is kind of the greatest thing, too. Yeah.
Now, I want to talk more about your guitar playing and your tasty licks, but we're going to have to do that after the break. All right, we're back with Ariel Posen, and we're going to continue our conversation about your guitar playing. You have a
Okay.
signature Stratocaster.
I
That's pretty
do.
cool.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your baritone sound.
Yeah, again, going back to just trying to do something different, and trying to carve out an identity musically that maybe not so many people have done previously. It came just from fishing around in the studio, making records and stuff like that, and finding something that resonated with me, and suited not only just like a cool playing style, it suited my voice for a certain range, and it became like a little bit of an addiction. So like, once you get used to a lower, bigger sound, it's hard to go back. I still do play normal guitar most of the time. Everyone thinks I just only play baritone, but I have definitely associated my name with it. I mean, we have a signature set of strings out for baritone tuning and all that stuff. I'm happy to be associated as like the B standard baritone guy. That's all fun and games for me. I don't mind at all.
And
Yeah.
what goes into that, like actually getting a signature guitar? Because I feel like not a lot of artists have that.
Yes, first of all, it's the greatest honor, especially from like one of, if not the biggest company. I've had a relationship with Fender for a long time, and I was experimenting, trying to essentially not come up with a signature, but just for myself. I had an idea, I was experimenting, and I was talking to my guy, Steven, there, and it was like the most simple conversation ever of, I'll never forget, because I was in San Francisco. I was playing with the Scary Pockets at the Fillmore, and I was just walking around on the wharf there before the gig in the morning, taking this call, and I said, yeah, I got this idea, blah, 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 it's this with that. I'm not going to get into the boring specifics, but he said, that sounds cool, actually. Why don't we do a signature? I was like, that would be sick. Let's do that. And then, these things take about 2.5 years. At least this one did. It takes a long time. And it was a beautiful, wonderful experience. And just more important than anything, just to have an instrument that you fully identify with, that you just know like you had a hand in putting it together. It's a pretty special thing.
So I want to learn a little more about your inspiration with your music, and kind of maybe, I know this is kind of an annoying question, but your Mount Rushmore of musicians.
Yeah. Paul, John, George, and Ringo, probably. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but everything comes back to the Beatles for me. I don't know why. I just like music and the artistry, it just resonates with me the most. And I've had phases in loving every genre of music. I love so many different things, and I wouldn't be who I am as an artist. I wouldn't even be me as a music fan without having a vast enjoyment in so many different styles of music and play. But at the end of the day, it's like the one constant. I always come back to the Beatles. It's just like the template for me, and I know I've said that already. So, I've spent time with listening to endless guitar players, but also singer-songwriters, piano players, drummers, bass players, horn players, country bands, disco bands, like the yacht rock bands, bluegrass, classical music, jazz, everything. I love everything, and I've spent my whole life listening to everything, but that's my big constant. I have to keep going back to that. So everything is involved in me developing my own sound and style and opinions and all these things musically, but that's my number one for sure.
Wow,
Those
that's cool.
guys.
You mentioned jazz, you big Wes Montgomery fan?
Sure, amazing, yeah.
Cool. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Canadian music scene. It can be a tough one to break through in, and you seem to be doing that. Can you talk about some challenges being a musician in Canada?
Well, on the touring side, I mean, Western Canada is huge. So you have to be prepared to, be comfortable with 8-hour drives every day, just about, if you're not going to play in all the in-between towns and just play major markets. As big as Canada is, there are not that many people as we think there are, and what happens with that is sometimes, like you said, it's harder to break through the noise. It's harder to, get a lot of other people that are in the higher positions that you might want to be getting their attention. It might be harder for them, or it might be harder for you just to try to get them to give you their attention, or to take you seriously. I wouldn't say that a lot of people in Canada take their artists and bands for granted, but it's definitely, it's hard everywhere. It's not that it's easier in other places, and you just got to do what you can to try to make it work. And you know what, if you can find a way to do this thing, whatever that is, being an artist and playing music, and be happy, that's success to me. If you can just enjoy what you're doing, not be depressed. There's going to be times where you might lose money, but at the end of the day, if you're just, you feel fulfilled from it, it doesn't matter if the industry can be hard in Canada or elsewhere. You're because you just love what you do, and I think that's a more important thing to focus on, especially for people who might be watching this. And I don't want to discourage anyone. I think it's more important to just focus on doing what you love,
And now, how important was the Winnipeg music scene for you growing up, and places like the Park Theatre?
Well, the Park Theatre, we just hit the 20th year anniversary last year, which is crazy because I've played it all the time when it first opened too, and I remember it was nothing like it is now. The Winnipeg music scene was everything for me. I wouldn't be who I am without the Winnipeg music scene, and more so than the Winnipeg music scene, my community. So my tight music community friends where we all grew together and like figured out who we were as people and musicians, but did it together while supporting each other. That was the real important thing. But the music community in Winnipeg it's like kind of for life, and it's just a beautiful thing how, you know, I flew here this morning and Spider, the bass player, Ken, who plays with Loverboy, was on my flight. Haven't seen him in maybe 6 or 7 years, and we just had a quick chat, but you pick up right where you left off, and that's a very Winnipeg thing. You know, I feel like the thing about Winnipeg compared to bigger cities is there's no egos. Everyone's real, and no one thinks too highly of themselves, and it's hard to explain unless you're a Winnipegger. We're just kind of built in our own way, and everyone's very modest and humble and supportive, and it's just a good vibe here. So coming up in that scene with people like that, it was everything.
I'm Kobe Mitchell. That's another episode of City News Connect. Thanks for tuning in.